everyone, welcome back to Get Your Play Online. So today I'm Hannah and we will be doing Get Moving, and as the very last activity for this Out of This World week, we will be doing space-themed yoga. So I've put together little bowl of all of the yoga poses that are space themed, and we will just pick one out one by one and learn how to do them. So all you're going to need to participate is you can either go barefoot or you can do socks, whichever you prefer. And I'm using a mat today, but you could do most of these on a rug or just on a hard floor, whichever works for you. So this will be super exciting, and if you don't know what yoga is, I know it has been featured a few times on our Get Your Play Online page, but yoga is just it incorporates stretching and slow movements, but it's extremely relaxing, and it's used many times for meditation and to center yourself and really focus on what you're doing. So this is a little bit of a taste of that type of activity, except it's out of this world themed, so it will be space themed. So some of the things that we will be doing are the moon, planets, astronauts, things like that are some of the moves that we will be doing. So let's get started. So also if you want to keep a water close by, that's great, but usually yoga is more slow and relaxing and calm, so we can jump right in. This is the very last activity of our Out of This World week, and I'm so glad you guys joined me. So just a few more things I want to mention is that there's no need to be perfect. Yoga is just about moving within your own body and feeling what's comfortable to you. So there's no need to do exactly what I do. Just make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing. So let's first pick out our first move that we will learn. Okay, so the first one I pulled out was Crescent Moon. So Crescent Moon, that's almost like a half moon. So what you're going to do is take a step on your mat, either in the middle. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit so you can see. So you're going to take a step onto your mat, put your arms above your head, and your palms will be together. So stand straight up. Your feet can be hips width apart, so not all the way together, but a little bit apart, and your arms will be above your head with your palms together, and then you can lean to one side, and you'll feel a really big stretch right here, but we're trying to be like a half of a moon, a crescent moon. And then you can go to the other side and feel a really big stretch. So you can kind of see that we're taking the shape that would be in the sky, similar to a half moon. And the other side. And that pose feels really good on my side, if you can feel it. And if you want to do it with your legs together, you're more than welcome to. It's a little bit more challenging to do the lean, but it feels really good in my body. Okay, so that's our first pose. Let's pick our next one from the bowl of yoga. So the next one I pulled out was Planet. So this one, we will also take a step on our mat, and your feet can be hips width apart again, not all the way together, but not really wide out, just a little bit. And you're going to bring your hands slowly to the middle in a circular O formation, kind of like the planet. And then you're going to twist and rotate to one side, and rotate to the other side, and come to the front. It's kind of like if you've seen planets with those rings around them. That's kind of what it looks like. So you're rotating to one side. If you're the planet, the ring is circled around you, just like that. And you can feel in your core and in your center the twist with your legs still facing forward and your body shifting to either side. So it's almost like you're a planet circling around the solar system. Okay, let's move to our next pose. What do you think it's going to be? The moon. Perfect. So we already did the crescent moon, but now we're just going to do the regular moon. So take a step on your mat, and once again, you can either face forward, or if you want, you can take a step on your mat this way. And the moon is just going to be a circular O above your head. So I can bend down to show you, but it's just going to be a circular O. And you can really make sure you're lengthening in your body so you feel the upward stretch. And while we're doing this, make sure that your shoulders aren't coming all the way up, because that can put a lot of tension on your shoulders. So you want to make sure you're pressing down and making a circular O while you're pressing down on your shoulders. And that will really make sure you can feel that lengthening in your body. So that's the regular moon, and as we did before, the crescent moon was the lean, so you can see the full moon versus the half moon. And this one feels really good, and it's actually harder than you think to keep your arms in that O formation, really steady and full. Sometimes people can picture either a balloon or a beach ball, something like that. But it's like those same planet arms just above our head for the moon. Let's pick our next one. What do you think it's going to be? Stargaze. This one we may need to do again at the end, but this one is definitely a favorite. I'll put my camera down so you can see my mat. This one is usually done at the end of the yoga practice, and what you're going to do is you're going to take a seat onto your mat, and you're going to lie on your back, and your arms are going to be to your side with your palms facing upward. And you're going to take a look up at the sky and notice what you see and what you don't. And you can take a few deep breaths while you're laying there. So in, out, and let it all out. And usually this pose is at the very end of a yoga practice to finish calming and just grounding yourself into the earth and things like that. But we can do it again if you guys would like. But it really is a stargaze. So if you were outside, you could see all the stars in the sky if it was dark out. So that's a fun one. That's just a name for a popular end to the yoga practice. So we can do that one at the end again. Let's take our next one. Astronaut. So our next one's going to be astronaut, and there's two ways we can do this one. First, we're going to do one on standing on our mat. So you can either stand this way or this way. I'm going to stand this way in order to show you. But kind of like an astronaut, we're going to float in the air. So your hips, your feet are going to be hip width apart, and you're going to shift to one side and pick up your knee. And then shift to the other side and pick up that knee. And make sure your foot is flexed, not down pointed, but flexed. And then shift to the other side and back and forth. And to make this more look like an astronaut, we're going to add our arms in. So do the opposite arm in sort of right angle. And it looks like you're floating in space, just like an astronaut. Switch to either side. back and forth. And a huge part of yoga is balance. So balance is key in this position because you will hold your core and move your leg up. You'll be holding your body in this formation, and then we'll switch to the other side. So it takes quite a bit of balance to hold this in each position. But it looks like an astronaut floating in space. Think of yourself on the moon, like you're traveling with no gravity. And hold your core in order to balance. It helps a lot if you stabilize yourself before. And if you're wobbling around, just come back to hips width apart and try again. Shift and then pick up your feet. Shift and then pick up your feet. So that's a really fun one. And it looks just like an astronaut. And then you can do it sort of on the mat as well. So if you'd rather do the astronaut on the mat laying down, you can lay down in the stargaze position, and then you pick up your leg and your arm, and then you can switch. And this one feels just like you're in space too. And this one you have to hold your core just as much. So I don't think one's easier than the other, but they both work your body in equal ways. So that's a super fun one if you'd rather be laying down rather than standing up for the astronaut yoga pose. I prefer both, so I like doing both of them, standing up and sitting down. Let's pick our next one. Telescope. So this one, since we're not actually going to be looking in a telescope, this one is a little bit different. We're going to be laying on our tummy. So instead of our back, we're going to lay down on our tummy. So make sure you find a comfortable spot, and you'll lay down like this. And then the first thing we're going to do is move our hands to our shoulders. So make sure your hands are right by your side, right by your shoulders. And then the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and look at the stars. So you're going to have your arms, your hands right by your shoulders. And the first thing you're going to do is push up. And if you can only push up till about here, that's okay. But if you can push up more and really bend your back, that's great as well. So you're going to push up onto your hands, and then the final part is to look up. And I can't speak very well while I'm doing it, but make sure you look up towards the sky. It's like you're looking through a telescope. So if you're on your elbows, you could rest on here, and the same thing with this pose, you want to push your shoulders down. So you're resting right here, and just like a telescope, you're going to look up towards the sky, like you're looking for stars. And if you're really stretchy, you can go all the way up. And then take a break, and then you can go again. And then look up. Push, 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 and then down. So this one is often used in yoga practice as well, but it is not usually called telescope. Some people call it cobra or seal or other different animals, but it is just like looking at the stars through a telescope. So you're going to imagine you have a telescope right above your head, looking at the stars. So that's a super fun one to do as well. Now we're going to take our bowl of yoga poses and find another one. This one is called half moon. So we did moon, we did crescent moon, now we're going to do half moon. And I believe in earlier Get Your Play Online activities, other people went over the different moon phases and what they look like, but you have what we went over before, the moon pose, the crescent moon, and now we're going to do the half moon. So the crescent moon is smaller, which the half moon, what we're going to do is have our feet hip width apart. We're going to take our upper arm and it will be in a sort of arch, just like this. And then our lower will be in a C, they're both in C curves above and below our body. And then we will go to the one side. So you'll lean to the one side just like the crescent moon, but this one is a C curve above your head and C curve below your body, and you will be following that line. Feels very good, and you get a really good stretch in. And then you can switch your C curves, so your other side is on top, and your lower side is below, and you lean to the other side, just like that. And it looks like a half moon. So the crescent moon that we did before was just a little sliver. So you imagine yourself being the little sliver of the moon. And the half moon, you can see, it's a little bit more. So we take up a little bit more space. So that's the half moon pose. And then the full moon we did before. So those are our 3 moon ones. So we got through those ones pretty quick. Let's look back in the drawer. See what we have. Twinkle. So I don't believe we've done a star before, but it's somewhere in there, so we will get to it. But this is a twinkling star. So you're going to find the middle of your mat, and your feet will be a little bit farther than hip width apart. So we've been working this with our feet right below our hips, and now we're going to go a little bit wider, so our feet are stretching out, and you can feel your legs being pulled toward the floor. And then you're going to reach your arm on a diagonal out to the side, and your other arm on a diagonal to the other side. And then what the most important piece is that your head is lifting towards the ceiling. So you're going to feel like it is one of those spokes on the star. So you're going to pull, 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 and you'll really feel the whole stretch through your body. So if your foot's pulling towards the ground, your other foot pulling, your arms pulling to the corner, and your other hands pulling to the corner, and your head is pulling towards the ceiling. You will feel a very good stretch. And the part that makes this the twinkling star is we're going to open our fingers wide, just like that, and then shake, 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 like we're a twinkling star. So you're going to have all your fingers out wide and shake them just like you are twinkling in space. So reach, 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 and move your fingers. You can even move your toes too. And then everything's twinkling. So that is the twinkling star. And when you release, it just feels really good. You're going from this huge stretch position to down, and it feels like an awesome stretch. So that pose is the twinkling star. Let's go back into our bowl and see what we have next. Takeoff. So this one is called the takeoff pose because we are going to take off like a rocket ship. So you're going to I'm going to come to the side of the edge of my mat instead of the middle. And the first thing that you're going to do is find this common pose that is used in yoga called the chair pose. So you're going to take a little bit of a bend. Your feet are hip width apart. You're going to take a bend in your knees, and you're going to reach up. So that is what is usually called a chair pose in yoga, and you're reaching up towards the sky while you have this nice bend in your legs. So in order to get the takeoff type, which is used for the rocket, you're going to go to your tiptoes, right from chair pose. So it's like you're taking off. And if you want, you can use that bend in your elbows to emulate the rocket ship taking off. So you can really feel this working your legs, just like a rocket taking off. So you're going from the chair pose with this bend, and then you're stretching and going immediately into tiptoes with your arms up, up, up. So you can either do that quick, or let's try holding it for 10 seconds. And you might be a little bit wobbly, but that's just okay. We will work on it. So you're going to, once again, have your feet hip-width apart. Take a slight bend in your knees. Have your arms and elbows ready on your side, just like this. And then once we go to tiptoes and we take off, we're going to hold it for 10 seconds. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Take off. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, yay, you did it. So that is the takeoff pose, just like a rocket. And you can either do that fast or hold it just like we did. Let's move on and pick our next pose in our bowl. The sun. So the sun is our next pose, and this one is actually pretty easy. So this one is the one that we usually start with. So you're going to find the center of your mat. Your feet are actually going to be together, and you're going to lift your arms up to the side and feel like you're stretching to either wall. On either side, you're going to stretch out just like this. But the reason that this one is used for the sun is because the sun is so dominant and so bright, so you really feel like you're in a power pose, just shining the light everywhere around. And if you would like, you can turn a little bit, like your rays are shooting out and going over all of the planets. And you can pick a spot you think is the Earth, and you can shine your rays right over it, just like we see all day long. So this is the start of the sun pose. So that's how that's a great pose to start with. And you can really feel like you're the rays shooting out from your body. So that's a great one to use. Let's keep going. Shooting star. This is my favorite pose. So I am so excited to teach this one. So this one is one of the more challenging poses. So we did twinkling star, and I know star is in there somewhere, but you did get to learn it. But this is the shooting star. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the edge of your mat and make sure your feet are a little bit hip-width apart, so you don't want them straight together or you will not be able to balance. And this is another balancing pose. So what you're going to do is be at the edge of your mat, and you're going to shift your weight to one side, and the other leg will tap the back. So that's how the start of the position will be. So make sure that all your weight is on that straight foot before you move this back leg up from the ground. So you want to make sure you're really centered in that leg before you move any further. And something that you could do is take a little bit of bend, and that will hold the control more in that standing foot. So in order to be a shooting star, we're going to lift our back leg, and you can go as high or as low as you feel comfortable. So you can just leave it right there on the ground, or if you feel like a challenge, you can lift it up. And then the final step is to lift your arms forward like this, and you can twinkle your arms as well. But this is what the pose will look like, and you can come back down and come back up, and that is the shooting star. So it's like you're shooting through the air. So it kind of looks like a superhero or something of that sort, but it looks like you are shooting right through the air. And if you don't feel ready to put your arms out to the front, you can bring them backwards along with your leg and twinkle them that way. So either way, you are a shooting star, and then you can go ahead and try with the other foot. So you shift your weight, bring your back leg to a little kickstand in the back, and make sure your weight is on that front foot completely before you lift it up. So once you lift it up, you're going to either move your hands forward or to the back and be a shooting star. So twinkle, 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 hold it as long as you can, and then bring it back down. And then that is the shooting star pose, just like you are floating through the air like a star. So that's one of the more challenging ones, I would say. So if you don't get it right away, do not worry. Rocket! Yay! Okay, this one is a great one as well. So, for the rocket pose, we did take off already, but we did not do the rocket pose. So you're going to find the middle of your mat, and your hips are going to be, your feet will be hips width apart, and you're going to shift to one side. So we're getting all the bouncing ones in right now. So shift to one side and bring your leg to your knee. So wherever your foot feels comfortable, just rest it on the other leg. So mine feels comfortable pretty close to my knee, just right there, right below. And then this is like the rocket base, but then we're going to bring our hands together at the top, and they're in a palms together formation at the top above your head. You look just like a rocket, ready to blast off. So if you can hold this pose for 10 seconds, that is great, and just take some deep breaths. In, out. And once again, we want the shoulders pushing down, just like our moon pose. So you're not all tense like this, but you feel relaxed and ready. And wow, I've been holding this one for quite some time. So let's switch to the other leg. Remember to always find your center position, and then you're going to shift your weight. Place your foot wherever it feels comfortable. Mine, once again, feels most comfortable. Ooh, a little unbalanced there, so shift my weight again. Right below my knees where it feels most comfortable. And then I'm going to bring my arms above my head in a palms together formation, just like a rocket, and lengthen up, 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 up. Will help you balance. And this one is great to keep trying. So if you feel wobbly or not settled, keep trying, and I promise it will work better as you keep trying. So that one is a really great one as well. I like that rocket pose. We just have a few more. Star. Okay, so we did this one already with the twinkle, but just as a little reminder, you're going to reach your legs out. Make sure they're shooting out into the ground. Your arms are going to come up diagonally. And what's the most important part? That your head is considered a spoke of the star as well. So you're going to reach up, feel like it's pulling up, up, up into the ceiling. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spokes of your star, reaching out of your body. So that is the star position. Once again, everything reaching out. And then the twinkle, if you remember, is just your fingers and toes twinkling as you reach out. So that is just a little reminder of the star position and the twinkle aspect that you can always add. And this is our last one. It's an asteroid. So We are going to be just like an asteroid in space, a little rock, and this will be one of our final poses of the day. So let me show you. You're going to take a seat on your mat, but not on your back, but in the front. You're going to sit on your knees, just like this. And then what you're going to do is lean forward on your knees, and your arms are going to go back towards the back wall and rest them on the ground. And then you're going to let your head rest onto the mat. And something that's super important about this is during yoga, this is the time to let everything go. So we were stretching and lengthening, and this is the time to really ground yourself into the mat, into the ground, and it should feel really good. And if you want your knees to be separated a little bit, that's great. So your arms are going to go towards the back, and just like a little asteroid rock in space, we're going to fold over and be a really tight ball. And just let all the pressure and tension in your body go towards the ground. And hold this for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that should feel really good at the end of your yoga practice. And something that you can do to make sure you're super focused and letting it all go at the end is to simply just close your eyes. So that is a great pose to do when you are finished and you're all relaxed. And you can always, of course, end with the stargazing position, which is once again on your back and looking up towards the sky. And something to remember about that is that your palms will be facing the sky open, like you're releasing everything. So those were all the poses. We have nothing left in our pose bowl. So if you have any more ideas for some, you can leave them in the comments below. But if you try this out, let me know. And just remember, some of my favorites were the astronaut, the rocket. I like the crescent moon and the half moon. So we got to not only practice some relaxation and yoga poses, but we also got to learn a little bit more about space. So thank you so much for joining, and there are all our poses back in here. Thank you so much for joining on the last activity for this week, Out of Your World. And be sure to come back this Sunday, and we will be starting with our brand new week for the summer. So thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy. Bye!